A part of the process of moving, or even in our times of planning a church or having to go to a different city or moving, there's always the moment of fear in the fact that there's newness, or you are completely alone in those times of transition, or those times of beginning something new, because you don't know. I remember when we first moved here, the day that the family that helped moved us out left, I remember standing in the doorway thinking, what am I gonna do? Because I can't fall back on my normal anymore. I can't trust, or maybe not necessarily trust, but I don't have that pattern or that rhythm that I know that I can easily come back onto. And sometimes in those moments, it felt like no one was there. Now, you guys were all great, and we got through this, and we are so grateful for all of you. But there's that initial fear that happens in the midst of newness, in the midst of creating something different, because we can't have the opportunity to fall back on some of those norms that we always fall back on. And it made me think this morning as I was reading through Isaiah in my devotions. Isaiah 42:16 says, I will lead blind Israel down a new path, guiding them along an unfamiliar way. I will brighten the darkness before them and smooth out the road ahead of them. Yes, indeed, I will do these things. I will not forsake them. You see that what a great promise that God gives Israel, because they were about to they were going to go through some pretty drastic growth pains. And eventually, even when Jesus steps onto the scene, Jesus was bringing them into a new understanding of what the gospel means, of what God's kingdom means for them. But God was always there, walking them through, helping them in the times of newness, leading them in the unfamiliar way. Later on, he even goes on to say, do not be afraid, for I have ransomed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. When you go through the deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burnt up. The flames will not consume you. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. In these moments, and I think this new era that we are walking into, that many people are saying, hey, this is pushing us into a newness, not just for as individuals, but as a church, in the greater church, in the world. We're in an uncharted territory, and it is, if we are honest with ourselves, it is frightening, because we don't know what this is going to look like. We don't know how it's going to be when we come through this, or whenever we come through this, or we don't even know what to do now. And the problem with fear and the uncertainty is it can cause us to completely ignore those promises, those hard truths that we can stand upon. God gives us his promise that says, look, I am leading you through a new path. I'm going to lead you through these uncharted territories. Don't be afraid. You will not be consumed. You will not be burnt up. You will not drown, because I am with you. So instead of letting fear take hold of us, instead of panicking because we are in uncharted territories, we have to fall back on these promises, and we need to trust God even more. And we need to recognize that there is beauty in the new uncharted territories. Because oftentimes, when we are walking in the normal, we get lax, we get lazy, and we begin to take things for granted, and we almost check out. And maybe this is the opportunity to reset and say, God, we will trust you now, because we've kind of gotten lazy. Forgive us for our laziness. Forgive us for forgetting. But now we're going to grasp hold of you in these uncharted territories, knowing that the only way we're going to come through this is when we are holding on to you. The unknown, the newness, the uncharted territories is okay. Because it allows us the opportunity for growth. It allows us the opportunity to experience God in a more deeper, richer way, because he is calling us to himself to trust him in these uncharted territories. So, whatever lies ahead, we don't have to be afraid. Whatever's going on, however we're going to chart and navigate through this, it's fine, because God is with us, bringing us through it all. And there's no better place than with him, resting in his promises. Hope you have a great weekend. Relax, and we will see you back here on Sunday.